Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. Tonight we are back with a brand new review for Put a Ring on It Season 2 Episode 4, Back in the Lion's Den. Child, let me tell y'all something. The highlight of this episode was, of course, Sir James. But other than that, honey, I was getting a headache all up and through. Child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. If you are new here, then welcome. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload a video. So we are back with the foolishness. We pick up with Laronda deciding if Sir James will be getting a second date, right? So the verdict was still out last episode, but she said yes. I'm like, I know that's right, girl. Have you seen him? I'm just saying. So she said she wanted to see him outside of Sean and his prying eyes, okay? So Dr. Nicole said, Sean, how do you feel about that? He don't feel good, and please, because I do not want her to have to clean up nor throw up off the floor. Okay, so please leave him alone. Don't ask him any questions that might upset his tummy, okay? He said, put all the candy in front of her and let her choose me. Well, honey, Sir James is a Mr. Goodbar. Moving forward. Laronda said all the commotion, made it easier for her to go on the date. Sis, don't worry about the excuses, okay? I know exactly why y'all getting into it as y'all get into it. It's because you see what you could potentially be with versus what you're with now. Not saying Sean is not a good guy. I just don't think he's the guy for you. Let me put on my Dr. Nicole voice. Not saying that Sean isn't a potential suitor. He just is not the suitor for you. Moving forward. So then Sean, Dr. Nicole asked if he wanted to go on another date with Brawless Brit, and he gave her another date, right? He said yes with a capital Y. He's so petty. Listen to this, okay? Y'all just listen to me. He said he gave another shot because he was too busy focusing on Laronda. No, sir. You gave her a second shot because Laronda said yes to Sir James for the second time. You ain't fooling me. Laronda said, well, let's just see where it takes us. Yes, honey. She's like, please let it take you away. Baby, Calgon, take me away, honey. Please take Sean and go ahead on, child. So Dr. Nicole said, am I sensing jealousy? Well, duh, honey. Oh, Sean said, no. Dr. Nicole said, your nonverbals, the rolling of the eyes, the dismissing, I see it in both of you. Child, okay, child. Then she said, ain't nobody winning right now. She said, you're not winning until both of you are on the same team, looking out for each other, trusting each other, and working together. Everybody loses with both of you not winning. What are you talking about? I am not. Let me tell you something. Week after week, I sit and listen to Dr. Nicole in her ponytail give these people riddles in order to fix their relationship. This is some bull, honey. Dr. Nicole, what in the made-for-TV psychobabble are you talking about? Dr. Nicole, allow me. Sean, quit being petty and allow Laronda to experience the experience. In the words of Nene Leakes, you never win when you play dirty. Moving forward. So then she tells Eric and Alexia that they will be falling back this week. They're not going to have any dates, right? And the other people will be going on repeat dates. Of course, honey. Darion. He going to definitely go on his repeat date, okay? Meanwhile, Mr. Mob will be going out with Kai and her hidden agenda for a third date. Honey, I guess third time's the charm. So then she asked Alexia how she feels about that. Honey, not good. So she said, I don't want him to keep going out with Kai. I don't understand why he keeps doing that. Honey, because he for the streets. Kai for the streets and he for the streets, allegedly. This is my thing. He will be looking for me in the daytime with the flashlight when he returned. Because I'm not about to sit idly by while you continue to go out with this lady and act like she is the end all be all. Honey, no, I'm not with the foolery. If you want to continue to go out, I understand we signed up for this. This is an assignment. I understand that. But at the same time, you are getting a little bit too much joy out of going on these dates with this heifer. So Jessica said, she feels bad because Darion got stars in his eyes, honey. So then Eric gonna say, 14 years of built up frustration. I feel him. Eric, hush. Darion better be glad Alexia tolerates him and them lips. Oh, ashy, crusty, crack lip boy. Anyway, so then Dr. Ponytail tells them to go out and put in the work. Girl, we'll see you later. Eric and Jessica are riding around and getting it, okay? And Jessica says she thinks some people are so insecure that it's a huge problem for them to let their mate go on dates. Tell me you're talking about Sean without telling me you're talking about Sean. Because that's the only person I could think about when she said that. She said, I thought this was going to be easy, but it's really getting the best of me. Eric said, oh, getting the best of you. I can't tell you going out again with Clarence. Honey, don't be mad. Honey, you're mad because you got to stay home and your little do-rag tonight, Eric. Honey, you ain't got no date. Don't try to rain on her parade. Oh, no, sir. We will not have that. So he said, you think you and Clarence are compatible? She said, I don't know. I was more excited about him picking my brain instead of on a sexual level. Honey, that's why she gave him a second date, because he actually speaks to her. Eric, it looks like Jessica appreciates a good conversation to me. I told y'all last review it looked like they were having a good conversation. But this is what I think when I think about Eric and Jessica. Here it is in a nutshell. Eric wants some deep conversation, but he wants it to be attached to a baddie. Jessica wants the zhuzh that comes with Eric and the way he turns up and gets it popping, but she also wants a man that's not just looking at her for what she offers on the outside. So basically, the both of you want some depth, but you're not getting it from each other. So therefore, and thus and such, either piss or get off the pot. She's like, he should be worried about my date because he knows I like Clarence, but, he needs to show me he cares instead of being so hard all the time. Baby, listen. Men never let you see them sweat unless you're Sean. Okay, then he pretty much lets you see him sweat, throw up, do sit-ups, cry, all that. But unless you're him, they don't really let you see them sweat. And even the most trifling man gets jealous. So that doesn't amount to a hill of beans. Okay, so don't get all caught up in him getting jealous, meaning that he cares, because that doesn't mean anything. He has to do more than get jealous to prove that he cares. Also, now I'm just putting you up on game. Now, I know last week, let me put a little disclaimer here. My reviews are for entertainment only. It's just in fun. I look at this show, I kiki a little bit, throw a little bit of shade, and make y'all laugh in the process. Please do not take anything that I'm saying seriously unless I'm giving you some advice. So, Jessica, allow me, honey. I know I'm not any relation to you, but as a big sis, being that we're both black women, I'm gonna put you up on a little bit of game, okay? Also, some men are just built for it tough. Honey, they don't sweat the competition. So maybe that's the kind of man that Eric is. I also want to point out that I do not like the way that Eric spoke to you later on in this episode. So you may want to revisit some things when it comes to him. Now let's keep going. So then Eric was like, well, he just a muscle. She's like, calm down, babe. Why are you so jealous? Now, girl, is that what you just said? You wanted him to be... Girl, I'm not about to play with you. Girl, what kind of high school games are you playing, honey? He said, I'm jealous because you're going out again. She's like, I'm starving. Can you feed me? He said, nah, go ask Clarence. When she said, I'm hungry, can you feed me? All I thought of was Little Shop of Horrors. I'm not sure if y'all seen that before, where all I could think of was feed me, Seymour. That's all I thought of when she said feed me. Anyway, child, in the next scene, Darion comes traipsing in while Alexia is in the bathroom. Honey, pass him some Vaseline so he can put it on those ashy elbows and face and lips and everything else that he got ashy over here. So anywho, she's like, what do you think about the session with Dr. Nicole? What are your issues? He said, I think I deserve better, a way better sex life. Oh, no, ma'am, honey, he getting ignorant. He is getting ignorant, okay? He said, we're cuddling and kissing out in public, but when we get home, we aren't as affectionate as I think we should be. Chum, probably because she waiting on you to use that Carmex on them lips, honey. She don't want to be slicing and dicing her lips up. Boy, goodbye. So then Alexia, honey, baby, Alexia was lean back like I should slap the film mob out of you. Baby, she was looking pissed. Do y'all hear me? Ooh, child, he is giving my sis the blues. Do y'all hear me? So he said, sex is very important in a relationship. It may have slowed down. This is what he's saying in the confessional. He's like, it may have slowed down because, we've been together for 14 years. The sex has simmered all the way down. First of all, I don't like the way you said 14 years. That was your choice to keep going back and forth and forth and back. You do know marriage is longer than that, right? Oh, okay. Also, I want to say this. A pastor was counseling me and my husband at the time, and he was complaining about sex. He was complaining that we weren't having sex. But he was cheating all day, every day, honey, so he wasn't finna lay down with me. I'm just saying. So the pastor said sex is attached to a woman's heart, and he said sex starts in the morning. Now, at first I was thinking, he better not touch me in the morning, honey, because first of all, I'd have been up with this baby all night. But he didn't mean it like that. He said that sex was, that sex starts in the morning and it's like a bank account. You have to make little bitty deposits throughout the day and make a deposit as soon as you wake up. And, at night you can make a withdrawal. And baby, when I tell you that was a word, that was a word. So Darion, you need to make deposits in your woman so that you can make a withdrawal at night. Because quite frankly, honey, you're in the negative. Honey, it's looking like you're in the red. So he said, home should be a place of peace. And at home, I just feel like I have a whole bunch of strife. And they have this condo, right? And he said that he goes to the condo, which she calls it a doghouse. They go there and he does music, right? So he said, when I'm there, I feel like I get a little sense of peace. She said, well, when you're there, I feel like you're doing something. She said, there's times where you would hit me up at 2:00 in the morning and be like, hey, you want some Waffle House? And then you show up here at 8. Okay. Darion, where are those 6 hours? Listen, Alexia, where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay. I'm not saying that he is cheating or I'm not saying that he has cheated, but can't be that much studio in the world. I'm just saying it just can't be. She said, if she feels a certain way, he ain't getting nothing. And I agree with that because I'm the same way. If you are not feeding and pouring into me, I am not going to be inclined to be Niagara Falls for you a little bit later. It just ain't happening, honey. Dry as a Sahara Desert. Please do not touch me. She said, he goes out of town and she doesn't hear from him until he's back in Georgia. Honey, I had these issues before. Honey, y'all don't need this show. Marriage will not make this relationship better. He has too many excuses and not enough communication. Honey, you need to let him go. It's really not going to work. And I hate to, encourage a breakup, but 14 years and foolishness throughout the 14 years. Oh, yes, sis, it's definitely time to let him go. It feels like another love TKO. Honey, it's time for him to move on. What woman you think ready to get into it after no word from you and you've been out of town and then you converse with me when you get back in town and we live together too? Oh, no, sir. He said for her to insinuate these things is her guilty conscience. Boy, what in the gaslighting hell? See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying right here. This is a narcissist right before our eyes. He said one of the reasons he loves her is because she trusts him. No, one of the reasons why you love her is because she's allowed you for 14 years to do what you wanted to do and run over her and take advantage of her. That is the reason why you love her. It has nothing to do with trust, because I am sure that she has said to you before, I don't trust what's going on here. I don't trust what's happening. You saying you here, but you really there. I need to know exactly what's happening. And because she's brushed it under the rug for so many years and remained silent and basically dormant, that's what made you love her, honey. Get out of here. You ain't fooling me. Talking about because she trusts you. Then in a true ninja fashion, he's like, what about the male friends that put heart emojis under your... This is what you're worried about? Friends that put heart eyes? Boy, goodbye. Honey, I don't trust no... He was like, I don't trust no man that put heart eyes under pictures. She's like, he supports me. He's there for me. Do you do that? He said, yeah, because he want to smash. Now, this is my thing. Now, I have to admit that some men do have a hidden agenda, Alexia. I have to say that. But at the same time, Darion, you're just trying to deflect, okay? You're trying to get the heat off of you. This is not about her. She doesn't disappear and then voila, magic. She back in Georgia. It doesn't work like that. That's what you're doing. So you're trying to put it off on her. And this is some old foolishness about heart eyes. Everybody puts heart eyes under people's pictures. That's just what people do. When you're looking cute, when you say something funny, when it's your birthday. That's just what people do. Child, please. Get out of here. So then They're fussing back and forth. And she was like, well, go with Kai. He said, I will. She supports me. And she will post me on her page. Well, let her go ahead and do that, honey. Because let me tell you something. This is the biggest cheerleader for you that you could ever have. She has mentioned your career for 4 consecutive episodes. Honey, career that we don't even care about. Okay, so I'm just saying, honey, why you sitting up here thinking Kai gonna be there? Oh, goodbye. But I just want to say to the both of you, this is not effective communication. Alexia, now, the male friends have to respect his boundaries. However, Darion, you doing something that ain't right. And just listening to her and knowing what I've gone through, and you are exhibiting the same behaviors as a cheater, pumpkin eater, honey, you're lying all up and through. She said it's the way, he talks about Kai like he used to talk about me, and it's not cool. And that this may be their last merry-go-round, honey, because she's sick of it, okay? Moving forward. So then he starts sweating. She was like, why are you sweating? He said, because there's no peace. He said, people, they get stuck, they get stagnant because of love. It's love here. Darion, I don't want to hear nothing else from you. Okay. You're talking in circles. So I really could care less. The bottom line is you are doing what you want to do while being in a relationship. Either be single or be in the relationship. Quite frankly, I think she should let you go. I'm just saying. Neither of you seem happy. And the bottom line is Darion looked like he was looking for an out, honey. Separate. Shout out to Avant. Honey, it's time to let go. I just couldn't be bothered. In the next scene, Darion and Kai with her J-Lo velour suit. 'Cause I'm real, the way you walk, the way you move. That's all I could think of when I seen her little suit. You remember when J-Lo had that little short set velour suit on in that video? I was like, look at Kai giving us a throwback Thursday on a Friday. So anyway, they get to their date, right? And he said something that struck a nerve, okay, in me. He said he needed that feminine energy because him and Alexia have been going at it. You know what? When he said that, I said, you know what? He may be seeing Alexia as a homie as opposed to a lover. Her feminine energy is lacking, and Kai makes him feel and see that, right? So now, Alexia, honey, you my girl, but I got to tell you, what I need to tell you so that you can get the zhuzh that you need to get, okay? Darion wants a woman that knows how to use her zhuzh. I'm going to need you to pull that out of you and be that feminine side of you that I know that you can be. I understand, you play sports, you play basketball and all this and all that, but your man wants to feel like he's the man and you're the woman. I know a lot of us don't really know how to turn on the femininity and then turn it off when need be. But sometimes, honey, you got to act like the little, oh my gosh, really? Oh, babe. Honey, you got to put it on. Talk to Jessica, honey. She'll tell you how to zhuzh it up. So then we see Kai, honey, and she talking in her confessional. Who gave her a confessional? I don't know. She's like, when we're alone together, I feel real good. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about his relationship. But I know I can have him if I want him. Girl, please, take him and them crusty lips and that old flowery, ugly shirt he wearing. Take him by the hand and go on off into the sunset, honey. You're going to be in the same spot in a few years, child. This is a game to you. You just want to win. You just want to defeat and you just want to conquer. So they're doing this whole go-kart ride and looks like they're having a good time. And then they sit down after the race to talk about the date, right? So she's like, tell me about the date. Tell me about the date. He's like, well, she let me have it. She said, oh, so she's still bothered. Girl, ain't nobody worried about you. She's bothered by him. There are things that he's done, which is the reason why she's acting a fool. You have nothing to do with it, okay? Girl, please don't toot your own horn. So he's like, it's more of her having a battle with herself because she knows what he likes and, you're what I like. Darion, why do you keep saying that? That is really starting to piss me off. Why do you keep coming out of your face saying that she's the kind of person that you're attracted to? She's your type. If you wanted that type, why did you settle with Alexia? And quiet as it's kept, honey, she wouldn't look at you twice had they not placed her here. This man really think he A-list. Child, anyway. So she said, if she told you to stop dating me, would you? He said no. She said, y'all been together for a long time, so she should feel like a little bit secure. He said, but she still isn't. I really want to work it out, but I just don't know. So then Kai said that she believes that he is in love with Alexia the way that he talks about her. So then they shift gears and he asked her about her, right? She said, he said, so what do you do on a daily? She said, I'm opening up a beauty bar. That's what I've been focusing on. He was like, oh, you must have some bread. Baby, the way she looked at him, honey, he sounded like he ready to borrow some money for studio time, child. You might want to leave him where he's at. She was like, I'm 32. I have 2 kids. I have to have my bread together. I know that's right, honey. I know that's real. So she said, she used to be bad with money, but she hit rock bottom. But luckily, she had some really supportive parents. And she wasn't homeless living in her car. But let's just say she didn't have 2 pennies to rub together at the same time. So then Darion was like, I love the way that she loves her kids, honey, as she should. Child, what kind of trifling women you been dealing with? And he was like, I was raised by my grandparents because my mom was too young. So I really love the fact that she lights up when she speaks about her kids the same way I light up when I think about mine. Now, when he's talking about the kids here, I'm thinking these kids and these children are prior to Alexia. But child, we're going to get into it as we get into it. So Britt over at the studio dropping some beats. Of course, honey, Brittany said she going to use this date to showcase her talent. Smart move, girl. Sang on, honey. Sang on. So then Sean walks in, skinning and grinning and clapping. And he said the first date, they didn't really get into it. And so he's so excited for this date. So him and Laronda, he said they're not on the same page. Of course, honey, she's in the book of James. Chapter 1 verse 2. Okay, honey, she's not worried about what you got going on in the slightest. So they're talking or whatever, and he asks why she's single. She says she's been focused on her career this whole time, and she hasn't dated a lot of people that she was into, and some of them thought that her singing was just a hobby. So then they start talking about accountability, right? And he said that he's willing to apologize, because the days that he spends not apologizing could be days that he can spend loving on the person that he's with. I really did like that answer, because a lot of times people will get stubborn and, they'll get petty and go into this whole silent treatment type thing. But I did appreciate the fact that he said that he would apologize if he was in the wrong. So then he goes, and I'm a crier. Child, that's an understatement, okay? When, Sean is a baby. I couldn't help it, Sean. I couldn't help it, child. Don't take no offense. But anyway, it was big of him to admit that he's a crier, honey. And she think it's cute now, honey, until her shoulder drenched or he done cried all over her good dress. So she's like, so do you have a good cry song? Honey, I don't have time for this, child. I really don't. So she's like, you know what? We might be too much alike. Girl, y'all may wear the same size bra and get y'all periods at the same time, honey. The way y'all talking about, do you have a cry song? Oh, child. So then Sean said in his confessional, it's crazy how compatible we are. Yep, true, honey. You two can eat ice cream and cry while watching The Notebook and figuring out where your next meal coming from. Moving forward. Honey, what kind of date was this? This was a stop by the studio. This was not a date. I don't think they really know what date is. But for the sake of TV, I guess you could call this a date. Well, Britt, if you don't get another date, at least we heard you sing, child. So then Jessica and Clarence, it's time for their date, right? So they meet up, and, she said that she likes that he's a gentleman because Eric doesn't make her feel appreciated. Honey, we see that a little bit later on. So Eric is one of those dudes that feels like she'll never leave. That's what I get from Eric. He feels like he got her in the palm of his hands and he don't have to work much. He can talk crazy, act up, and not put a ring on it, take years on end, give her a baby, pacify her for a few years, and then marry her after she's been through 99 years of suffrage. That's what I get from Eric sometimes. So Clarence said, he wanted to bring her for a date because he wanted to see her in a different light. Jessica said, she likes everything that's going on right now because they're getting into the date, right? And y'all actually look cute together. I like it. I don't like Clarence's little nose ring, but y'all look cute nonetheless. Honey, the only man that I will accept a nose ring from is Tupac. So then they start riding these bikes. And she's like, you look hot. He was like, I look hot. She's like, just take the shirt off. Child, not a little eye candy. So he took the shirt off. And she's like, who's Dana? He said, oh, that's my ex-wife. Oh, no, ma'am, honey. I hate when men play arts and crafts with their body. No, ma'am, Pam. She's like, oh, okay, let's sit down and talk. I know that's right, y'all, because y'all need to sit down and see what's going on with all this writings on the wall. Shout out to Destiny's Child. So he said, they grew into two different people. He was with her when he was 23. Then they got married and there was some infidelity. And he said, as a bodybuilder, he would be gone all the time. And when he got home, he wouldn't put in too much effort. Okay, so what I'm hearing is you neglect your partner even after you've been gone for some time. And I didn't hear who cheated on who. So were you the cheater or was she the cheater? That's what I was mostly concerned about. He said he doesn't want to have any regrets. He said he doesn't have any regrets because he knows what he wants now. So he said, well, why hasn't your man tried to wife you? You know, you're beautiful, intelligent, and all this kind of stuff, you know, giving her all the zhuzh that she deserves. And she said, I'm ready, but we have trust and communication issues. Well then, honey, y'all not ready. But she didn't like the fact that he asked about Eric. She felt like he should focus on himself. So after he asked that, she was like, oh, okay, that's enough. Then she told him to keep his shirt off as he walked her to the car because she likes what she sees. I was like, girl, not you treating him like a piece of meat. Baby, that Jessica's something else, honey. Back at Alexia and Darion's house, Dr. Nicole shows up. Darion has another one of those flowery shirts on. Boy, are those on sale? Ugh, child. Oh, okay. So Darion gets right into it. He said, you know, that she puts him in situations that he's not even doing, and she's just thinking he's cheating and he's really not. So Alexia starts piping up and she's like, no, it's the picture that he paints. It was All-Star weekend. We were supposed to meet up at the condo. It's like 10, 11 o'clock. I'm calling. And then he shows up the very next day. She said he'll go out of town and not even tell her until he's out of town. See, Alexia, you have allowed this to continue. So now he's learned that this behavior is okay. So now you can't take it back because you would have to literally undo all of this learned behavior. He thinks this junk is cool, honey. So he starts piping up and being rude, interrupting her. She's like, see? He said, go ahead and finish this lie. Child, it is no way that I could deal with Darion. Darion, I don't know what his name is. Honey, I don't know. It's no way I could deal with smoke. It's just no way. So then he said that she was lying. He was like, I don't just pop up in another city. This process won't work because you keep lying. No, you're trying to loud talk and over talk so you can get around it, honey. I don't want to hear it. So then he starts getting all loud. Dr. Nicole and her ponytail couldn't get a word in, honey. Dr. Nicole, it's a waste. So Dr. Nicole said, okay, you two have mastered what you're doing right now, but what is the root? Like, why is this happening? He said, you know, she wants to get married and she wants to do it on her timeline. And since I'm not moving, then that's the problem. She said, you know, all my friends are getting married. I'm 34. I don't have any kids. I'm in this big house. He has 3 kids. Alexia, baby, cut your losses. 3 kids already? And then this was the crazy part. She said he has 3 kids by 2 different mothers, and he had them in the time frame of the 14 years. And she doesn't want to be one of them, and that bothers her. Oh, Alexia, honey, I'm speaking directly to you. Honey, do not waste your childbearing years with Darion. You can still go out and find someone that is for you. The fact that during your relationship, whether it was off or on, I'm not sure which one it is, he had kids with other women, that is your cue to end things, honey. He is not serious about your future together. You deserve so much more, honey. Do not waste another 14 minutes. Matter of fact, let's cut to commercial. Child, cut. So Dr. Nicole said, when I walked in, you were already on 1,000. So then Darion had the nerve to say, I had a baby with her and her, so I have a baby. That's cool. But she's not marriage material with all these problems. She is not marriage material with all these problems? Alexia, listen to what he's saying. He's sitting here saying in your face, disrespectfully, might I add, that you are not marriage material. What more do you want him to say? So, Darion, you will be by yourself messing with me, honey. You should be honored she even graces you with her presence. How disrespectful of you. So then Dr. Nicole said, well, how do y'all get through it? She said, you know, I usually just get quiet. Honey, pipe up, sis, as you pack your things. Honey, I would be packing my bags. I would pull a Monica on him. Boy, it's a dangerous game to try to play a chick like me. Honey, he would be looking for me, child. Moving forward, Laronda is back on a second date with this fine specimen named Sir James. They're bowling, having a good time, joking with each other, and I thought it was real cute. She said, how have you been since our last date? He was like, I was thinking about you. She was like, oh, I was thinking about you too. He said, but I had a dragon breathing down my neck. Honey, y'all better make sure Sean ain't lurking around right now while y'all talking. Ain't no telling where Sean at, honey. I would need to know where he is at all times. And Laronda said, did you happen to put your hand on my back? He said, yeah. She said, I don't remember that, but he saw it. James said, oh, the dragon saw it. Honey, not y'all calling Sean Puff the magic dragon. He's another animal, but dragon ain't it, honey. Dragon got a little bit too much oomph behind it. So he said, his last relationship was 4 years ago. She cheated on him and it was the worst relationship ever. Oh, Sir James, she cheated on you. Honey, you can cry on my shoulder. So Laronda said, that Sean is really insecure. And Sir James is looking at her like, oh, you just not figuring it out? And he wants to know where I'm at, what I'm doing, who I'm with at all times. So Sir James said, that sounds like being a parent to a child, not your significant other. Laronda, even he sees that something is not right about your dynamic. Honey, you got to stop babying little man. So she says she thinks she can fix it, but it's draining. All jokes aside, I don't see you fixing things in this relationship where the individual as a person is broken. Sean needs to be alone to work on his insecurities. I think you may do better by going on another date with Sir James. I mean, I think that would be your best bet. So Sir James said, he would definitely go on a third date with Laronda. Okay, honey, and y'all look nice together. The couples are back with Dr. Nicole. So the first couple to speak their speech is Darion and Alexia, right? So he's like, we had a heart-to-heart after you left. And I listened to her. She told him about All-Star Weekend as an example, and that was upsetting to her. She said he showed her the evidence and that he had fell asleep. So when all the Tatianas were in ATL, this celebrity wannabe wasn't out rubbing elbows and getting numbers. Girl, child, he ain't doing number line. He's a bold-faced, bald-faced, crusty-lipped lie, honey. So Dr. Nicole is back with the colors. Child, she loved to use a colored analogy. She's like, you know how you walk into a place and there's a white canvas? People don't like to see white spaces. They want to know that the space is blue or it's pink or it's red. Basically, honey, I need you to fill in the gaps in this story, okay? Because it's not adding up. The math ain't mathing. Let me just break it to y'all down like that. So then Darion says, that's like with these men. I need the picture to be painted instead of it. Trust me, I need to know is it red or if it's blue. Boy, shut up, honey. You just saying any old thing. I am not buying it. So then we talk to Eric. Eric says he wants to have a sit-down conversation instead of them not really talking to each other. They just do the deed and act like the fight didn't happen, right? So Dr. Nicole asks, well, how do you get into the deep conversations? He said, I don't really like putting my problems on other people because 80% of them really don't want to hear about your problems. So then Dr. Nicole said, well, is Jessica a part of the 80%? He said, yeah, sometimes I feel like she is. I was like, ugh. So Jessica was like, what? He said, I feel like that because there's no resolve. She said, I give advice. He said, well, I already thought about whatever it is that you say. So that's useless. Oh, child, y'all better get to cussing. I know that that's not effective communication, but I've been to cuss these men out, honey. No, ma'am. That was rude as hell. She cannot read your balding mind, honey. Sitting up there talking to this lady like that. She said, well, do you feel like, it's no sense in talking to me? He said, no, see, you just made that up. Okay. First you complain about conversation. Then, she tries to get into it as you get into it. And that's not good enough. Honey, you are basically saying she's just a pretty face. Did she give you a solution to that thinning hair that you can use? Or did she just tell you to put that do-rag on? Boy, you do not talk to this woman like this. And Jessica, honey, pay attention, baby. Stay woke. Why would you want to marry a man that's belittling you? He tried to wrap it up in a nice little bow, but it's still a piece of okay? So Dr. Nicole said this week, 4 of you went on dates. So then she asked Laronda how the date went that she went on. She said she had a fun time. And Dr. Nicole said, well, were you attracted? She said, yeah, he was handsome. But as far as the conversation, I was leading it. So it's a no for a third date. Laronda, that's an excuse, honey. He definitely was engaged and he definitely was talking to you. What was I watching? Honey, well, go and send it my way, child. She says she wants her man to show interest and he didn't. He was very interested in you. Child, okay. So Sean said, he had a nice date, but he doesn't want to play with fire. So he said he knows that he and Laronda's foundation is strong enough, so he's going to jump into the lion's den. Honey, I don't like that. You're all chipper and happy this week because she's declining another date with Sir James. You manipulated the situation last week and clearly you don't trust yourself. And so now that you feel like she's going to be sitting down somewhere, now you feel like you can feel free to go on another date. I don't like the way that happened. So then Dr. Nicole said, I'm proud of you for standing in your truth. Dr. Nicole, is your ponytail too tight? He is not standing in his truth. This is some old fraggle-naggle bull crap, honey. So then Jessica talked about her date. She said, he didn't excite her. I knew he was a little corny. I ain't didn't really want to say it, but I knew something wasn't. The dots were not connecting, so he doesn't get a third date. Now it's Darion's turn. So he's bragging on Kai, honey. She's the moon and the stars above. Dr. Nicole said, can you see yourself with her? He said, before Alexia? Easily. Baby. Alexia said, to say easy in this short amount of time, that bothers me. She said 14 years on and off, it's not just that easy. Why would you even say that? He is a jerk, that's why. Kai reminds him of his youth. Smoke, honey, newsflash, you are not that dude. You are really not. Outside of this experiment, how many Kais were you seeing? Oh, okay, none, honey. So then Dr. Nicole asked, will she be getting a fourth date? He said, yeah, like him, she's a challenge, and I want to play with fire. I want to play with the hot water. I want to go back into the lion's den. Alexia said, you've been knowing me half my life. This is her in her confessional. And I won't allow you to make a fool out of me. I have too much dignity for that. Baby, Alexia gets up and walks out. Here go Dr. Nicole. Miss Alexia. Honey, let Alexia go. She done had enough, okay? I do not blame her. This episode was so triggering for me because I saw relationships that I've had in the past. And all I can say to you ladies is don't walk, run, okay? Please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. Come back next week so we can talk all about the foolery yet again. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.